Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. So let's talk about some Palworld. Let's talk about some drama with Palworld and data miners apparently uncovering what they believe to be a Mewtwo clone in Palworld. This shouldn't surprise anyone. Now, again, we're going to talk about the potential legal entanglement that Pocketpair could find themselves in. And I personally don't think they're going to get in much trouble. I think Nintendo is fuming because that's a lot of money left on the table that they're not getting. And there are rumors that Palworld is selling substantially more copies than what's being reported, that the community manager is actually being harassed for reporting on the sales by Pokemon stands. That's what I'm hearing. But, lots of people out there are trying to basically gotta get Palworld. Gotta get it. We gotta get it. Gotta get it for Nintendo. And look, I mean, a lot of the pals are very, very similar to Pokemon. That being said, they're different enough that I don't think there's any brand confusion with individual Pokemon. Let's put it that way. If I looked at these in a group and I was not familiar with Pokemon, and I saw the trailer and stuff, I would just assume it was a Pokemon game. But that being said, when you tear it apart, and you look at, side-by-side comparisons, they're very close, but they're not exact. And again, this company's in Japan, and their laws are a lot stricter, I believe, with fair use and copyright there. And reportedly, the CEO of Pocketpair did due diligence before releasing the game because they knew the wrath of Nintendo is mighty. Like, Nintendo will smack down fan projects, and they will shut down streamers. They wanted to shut down streamers before for streaming their games. They don't do that anymore, but they were, So yeah, they're gonna try to avoid any entanglements. That being said, they're already getting the card game ready. They already got the merchandise ready. You can buy Palworld plushies on Amazon now. They had those ready to go. It's insane. So let's talk about more Palworld insanity before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, no woohoos in this video. She'll be back later today. We kind of split up sometimes in tag team. We're working on a lot of different projects this year. You guys have no idea. We can't talk about everything yet, but we are not working on a Pokemon clone. Don't worry. But yeah, so Deserto, I gotta give them a hat tip. They put a couple of things out there. They put this video up showing side-by-side comparisons, pals to Pokemon. And yeah, they're very close. And casuals might think that they're just a one-off or whatever. But again, if Nintendo / the Pokemon company, whoever, Game Freak, wanted to shut down, or could shut down every other monster catching game, they would have shut Digimon down. And what's Temtem? Is that another one that's out there? But then again, I don't think that the sales are anything like what Palworld is. And Digimon does look... Digimon characters have a certain look to them, I think, that differentiates them enough from Pokemon. In my personal opinion, these are very, very close. But again, I don't think, unless they get busted, lifting the models directly or lifting assets directly from Nintendo, I don't think there's going to be an issue. But it's so weird to see Nintendo fans, Pokemon fans, just, reaching for so many different, like, you can say, hey, yeah, this game looks really close to Pokemon. I love Palworld. I love Palworld. I've been playing it with my son. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's the kind of Pokemon game I would want to play where you have, like, open world and free range and weapons and all that cool stuff. That being said, I can't deny that it looks pretty damn close to Pokemon. But again, the courts would have to decide just how close is too close, right? But Pokemon stands, man, they are rabid. They're like, oh, they used AI. This game should be invalidated. Oh, they might have lifted some assets. So if we distort the mesh, to match up with the Pokemon characters enough, that'll prove our case. Nintendo, don't you know this game's out there? And they actually had to shut it down. They put a tweet out there and they said, hey guys, yeah, we're fully aware that this game came out, selling as many millions and millions and millions of copies as it has in a very short period of time, breaking all kinds of records on Steam. Trust me, Nintendo is very aware that Palworld is out there. And I guarantee you, with every leak, every release, every update, every tweet, their lawyers are probably screen capturing everything to case build. They're probably looking for a gotcha moment. Like, oh, okay, we can't get them for this, but we can get them for that. And that's how these things work. You know, if we get them for that, then we're gonna ask for like umpteen $1 million or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So trust me, they're very, very aware of Palworld, and if they could shut them down, knowing how litigious Nintendo is, I think they would do it in a heartbeat. That being said, let's go back to this thing with the data mining and the Mewtwo-like Pal. And somebody brought up in the comments here on Deserto's post that Caffeine Vaccine says people calling him a Mewtwo-Y clone when Snatchmon has been around longer. It kind of looks like Metal Sonic to me. But yeah, it's very much kind of a combination of the two, isn't it? Digimon, once again, getting no representation. Opera says that shit is Mew-3. I gotta like that, man. There's some drama with Opera right now, but they've definitely been getting into it. I think it's pretty funny. Yeah, they're right. I mean, you know, this person here, Papa Ux. Honestly, at this stage, if I was Palworld, I would make my characters as legally similar to iconic Pokemon just to F with Nintendo. Alyssa says, I think this whole controversy is pointless. Even satire games are still satire. That's obvious satire. They have a right to make their game. Yeah. Whether or not they have a right to make it and whether or not Nintendo's happy about that are two totally different things, you know? And again, as far as the sales are concerned, Nintendo has no one to blame but themselves. Nintendo's gotten lazy. I mean, you want to talk, you know, some people said that Palworld is lazy, just copying Pokemon designs pretty much. Nintendo's gotten lazy. It's been, you know, Pokemon games for the most part have been very formulaic, and they have been for years. And I mean, look, I like Pokemon, but I'm like, you play the first couple of generations and then you skip ahead and you play the newest games. And it's like, yeah, it's basically the same thing it's always been. And that's fine if that's your thing. But I kind of like the idea of being able to just go out there and find pals and butcher pals and put them in work camps and put people in balls. And you know what I'm saying? I like that a little bit better. And Nintendo could have given us a Breath of the Wild Pokemon type mashup. They didn't do it. So that's on them. But that being said, let's talk about this latest controversy. Twitter, Mewtwo, the Pokemon company. Palworld data mine uncovers a Mewtwo-like Pal as Pokemon copycat saga continues. I'm sure there's something like a Snorlax. I'm sure there's something... didn't they find a Psyduck type Pal? Long before Palworld became the cultural phenomenon it is now in 2024, again, this has come from Deserto, so credit to them, it was labeled as Pokemon with guns, and while the early access build we have today bears more of a resemblance to survival games like Ark, yes, it's very much just Ark with Pokemon-type creatures. That's literally what it is. I wasn't really expecting that. I thought it was going to be something more like Fortnite, but it's very much like Ark. The Pals themselves have come under a great deal of scrutiny, with dozens of designs bearing resemblance to those found across the Pokemon franchise. Controversy has been rife to the point the Pokemon Company had to chime in a few days ago. Now, as the record-shattering bestseller looks to keep its momentum up, many are looking to what's coming down the road. According to a supposed data mine, even more eerily similar Pals could be up next. Yeah, they keep releasing new Pals, or images of new Pals, and they do look very similar. So this one could be Mew-3. Pokemon YouTuber, yes, Pokemon fan, Pokemon YouTuber Mewtwo was among the first to share a Palworld design plucked from the game's code. Eurogamer managed to speak with the original leaker Brian Cousins, who accidentally found this particular design while compiling 3D models found throughout the game. Interesting. Why? Why are we doing that? Are they just going through, or are they looking to see how they match up to maybe help Nintendo? You know, in this instance, it's a dark mutant Pal coming into question as the data mine unearthed a creature bearing a striking resemblance to Mewtwo. From its pointed ears to 3 fingers and toes, the Pal design unquestionably takes inspiration from the popular Pokemon. Catching fire on social media for said similarity, Mewtwo shared the image and stating, "You cannot be serious, man." 3 million impressions later, and the ongoing controversy now has another talking point. And then Deserto put this side by side up. Here's some of the comments. This guy's mad because Pokemon haven't put out a good game since Black and White 2. Not wrong. Competition is good. Looks better than Mewtwo. That's just extremely blatantly stolen. No, one is white and one is black. They're not the same thing. You know, they're not. I mean, look, if this were the, technically though, if this were the case, like you wouldn't be able to have, you know, comics like Invincible that have, you know, characters very similar to the Justice League. And obviously each one of the characters are kind of one-to-one with like DC or Marvel characters. They're just different enough. You know, I'm just saying like that, you know, that, so you're allowed to do that. I mean, you technically probably could have a superhero. Well, once public domain kicks in, you can do whatever the heck you want with Superman, Batman, I guess. But for now, like if you had a Superman character with reverse colors and you called him like Amazing Guy and he had a big A on his chest instead of an S, but it was very, very obviously supposed to be Superman, there's not a damn thing DC Comics can do about it because yours is Amazing Guy. And there's no brand confusion. He has an A on his chest instead of an S. So Nintendo's really going to have to, like, if they thought they could shut this thing down on face value, they would have done it by now. Now, I personally can't wait for the Super Marinara Sisters and the Adventures of Greta games from Pocketpair. Those are going to be great. Those are going to be great. Maybe Hemorrhoid because they're a pain in Nintendo's ass. While Palworld devs have obviously fired back against Pokemon copycat accusations, millions of players are still debating. And now with the game on the Pokemon Company's radar, oh, trust me, Pokemon Company, Nintendo, they've been aware of this before they even released the game. I mean, damn, they were making the plushies before because they dropped as soon as the game dropped. Like you could buy the plushies already. So they were ready. It could be a matter of time until legal action is pursued. Maybe. And we know how Nintendo is. Again, ask Atari. You know, Atari bypassed Nintendo's seal of quality with Tengen. And they kind of reverse engineered things and they weren't supposed to do that. And there was a whole legal kerfuffle. And really it was Atari's fault because they had the opportunity to bring the Nintendo to the West and they didn't do it. You know, they passed on it. So then like years later, like, oh, can we please make cartridges for your system? You know, so I don't know, guys, this is some pretty crazy stuff. I thought this was funny too. This is another tweet from Synth Potato. Palworld discourse in a nutshell. So we have, Demon Souls. Hey, my game is similar to yours. Yeah, let's call them Souls-like. Here we have Hollow Cure and Vampire Survivors, which I freaking love Vampire Survivors. I've never played Hollow Cure, though. Maybe I need to. Hey, my game is similar to yours. Yeah, let's call them auto shooters. Palworld. Hey, my game is similar. Pokemon stands. That's about right. That's about right. That's what I've seen. Now, to be fair, I did a video yesterday where we had a bunch of Palworld fans jumping into Nintendo's mentions, into their comments, and trolling them about how great Palworld is and how desperate Nintendo was that they were putting out like a freaking 100 Pokemon tweets in a week for Scarlet and Violet. But I almost said Velvet. Scarlet and Velvet. Maybe Pokemon Velvet would be a much better game. You know, Pokemon Leather and Velvet. There we go. Those games would sell like hotcakes for sure. Gonna wrap it up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Check out Clownfish Gaming. We do more gaming news on Clownfish Gaming. The reason I'm doing Palworld news on the main channel is it's become a much bigger issue than just being something that's of interest to gamers. Like this thing is blowing up all over the place. CNN's even covering it, and it's gonna get weird. It's gonna be it's going to get really, really weird. And I do believe there will be some kind of legal action. I just don't know what that's going to look like. I think it's going to be probably Nintendo trying to get Pocketpair on a technicality and then just trying to run them out of money. But they got a lot of money. I mean, they sold millions and millions and millions of copies of a $30 game and they're just warming up. So going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.